Let's talk about Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. Since the preseason is officially over, this team did not win a game in the preseason, and they had a horrible loss against the New York Jets in the preseason to where they didn't score a single point. But none of that matters because it is the preseason, and the Panthers are smart. They use the preseason to get an adjustment with the offensive line, get better communication, get Bryce Young integrated into the NFL and build chemistry with those young wide receivers, and also figure some things out on the defensive end. The biggest thing with this Carolina Panthers team is definitely going to be able to keep Bryce Young upright, and it starts this offensive line. The offensive line had a lot of communication issues throughout the entire preseason, but it did get better each and every game. The offensive line is far from perfect because Austin Corbett was not able to play, and he's still rehabbing from his injury. I do believe when Austin Corbett comes back in at that right guard position, the offensive line will take a step up. I really do believe that. And I think Icky at the left tackle position, he had a couple preseason struggles, but it was just a lot of miscommunication. He did get blown by in the New York Jets game, but other than the miscommunication in the New York Giants game and him struggling against the New York Jets, he looked solid against the Detroit Lions. And I do think the offense looked better as a whole. They gave Bryce Young more snaps. They gave him more plays at the line of scrimmage. And we saw Bryce Young in the day. 7-12, 73 yards, 1 touchdown, and he looked really good. He showed off the wheels as well. He had 3 carries for 21 yards. He's a guy that can go on the move, and that's another thing that a lot of spectators aren't talking about. They talk about how horrible the offensive line looks. Bryce Young's in a bad situation. He's really not. On the back half of last season, the offensive line looked really good, and it gave Sam Darnold a lot of protection. I think they'll do the same with Bryce Young. But the one thing people are forgetting, Bryce Young may be undersized, but he can move around inside and outside the pocket. He can evade some sacks. He may not be able to do it the way that he did at Alabama, but he can definitely move around in the NFL. And I definitely can see him evading some sacks and creating some crazy plays. We saw him almost do that against the New York Giants. He was running across, got out of the pocket, came back to the line of scrimmage, and he missed the wide receiver in the middle of the field because the wide receiver wasn't able to catch the football. But I definitely do believe that we can get some of those crazy plays coming from Bryce Young. But you definitely want the offensive line to be competent and protect him. If they're fully healthy, they should be a very good unit when it comes to helping out Bryce Young. We also then see Miles Sanders play in the preseason. He's been dealing with a groin injury. I really do believe when he comes in, he's a running back that can catch the ball at the backfield. You can get some screens too. He's going to help out Bryce Young a lot. And we didn't see Adam Thielen play into the last game of the preseason. Adam Thielen is definitely the #1 wide receiver for this team. He isn't the same Adam Thielen he was a couple seasons ago. But he's going to be very valuable to Bryce Young and this offense because he is a veteran. That's the biggest thing with Adam Thielen. He's seen a lot of coverages. He's won against a lot of coverages as well. He's a veteran that is needed for a young rookie quarterback like Bryce Young. And I also think Hayden Hurst will come out and help out as well at that tight end position. I would love to see Frank Reich be the primary play caller for this team when it comes to just calling those offensive plays. It's going to be Thomas Brown. Obviously, Frank Reich's going to have some type of adjustment and some type of game plan that he wants to revolve around. But I've seen what he was able to do with the Philadelphia Eagles a couple years ago when he was an offensive play caller. He called a lot of good plays. I really wish that he was just the main offensive play caller. But Thomas Brown does not bother me. And I do expect for him to also have a huge impact on this offense as well. Their defense is still going to be solid. They're changing a few things from what I saw in the preseason. It may have just been trying to test out a few things. But in the preseason, some of their defensive adjustments had me scratching my head because last season their defense was extremely solid, and I like their defense a lot, especially their front seven when it came to Brian Burns and Derek Brown and all those guys up front being able to get after the passer. That didn't bother me in the preseason. Their secondary kind of did. There was a lot of miscommunication when it came to safeties and guys in coverage. You have a lot of veterans in that secondary. So having miscommunication at certain points in time should not be happening. But they definitely need those safeties to step their game up coming over to the regular season. Because I do believe if their secondary is healthy and you have Dante Jackson and J.C. Horn, that's one of the best young corner duos in the NFL. And just make sure C.J. Henderson is not your #1 corner. You will be fine. But I definitely expect for these veteran safeties to come up big. Guys like Xavier Woods and also a guy like Von Bell has to come up big time to this team. And Jeremy Chin as well, who's just an awesome playmaker for this team. So I expect for their defense to be better than what it was in the preseason, and it should be better than what it was last season. The biggest thing with the Panthers last couple of years, the offense has been shooting this team in the foot. If their offenses go out there and not go 3 and out all the time and not turn the football over, go down, take your time, sustain some drives, and put some points on the field, and make sure your defense is juiced up and those guys are still ready to go and they're not tired and they're not always on the field, they should be playing better defensively. I am worried about their linebacking core. They did sign Deion Jones, and you have Shaq Thompson. Shaq Thompson, who is a veteran beast, has been with this team since he's been drafted. He's phenomenal. Deion Jones is a very good pickup, but he deals with a lot of injuries, so I would not bank on him being able to play a full season. I just wouldn't. So I look at the Carolina Panthers long term. I said it in the past, I'm going to say it again. Love the quarterback that they have in Bryce Young. Let him sit, let him develop. I believe that he is ready to take the team over. That's why he's a starter right now. I expect for this team to still be a major contender in this division. Not saying that they're going to go out there and be the favorite to win the division, but they're definitely going to be one of those young teams that's going to be hard to beat, because if their offense could just put some points on the board and guys around Bryce Young can develop, they'll be in a very good situation. And before I let you guys go, I want to talk about the wide receiving core as well. Already touched on Adam Thielen. I believe that he's going to be very good and very essential for this team. The rest of these guys are very young. Jonathan Mingo, I believe that he has potential to be a very good wide receiver. He's shown some flash plays in the preseason so far, but I definitely expect for him to come out and play better in the regular season and to be a go-to target for Bryce Young. The biggest thing with him and Bryce Young are that they're both young, they're both rookies, and they should have a very good connection with each other going forward. That's one thing I'm looking at. And I'm also looking at DJ Chark. DJ Chark has struggled with injuries in the past, but last season had over 500 yards receiving. He is a very good wide receiver when it comes to stretching the field. So I think the wide receivers may be better than what a lot of people think if the offensive line can give good protection to Bryce Young. You let these guys get off the line of scrimmage and do their thing in open field, they should be very good. But you have a very good mix when you talk about the guys in the receiving room. Adam Thielen, the veteran, who's a smooth route runner. Jonathan Mingo, who's an aggressive wide receiver who can catch the ball from anywhere on the field, who is similar to A.J. Brown. And you also have DJ Chark, who is a speedster of his own right, does struggle with getting the line of scrimmage at times, but the corner can't put the hands on him at the line of scrimmage. He gets a free release. He would definitely burn some corners and some guys in this division. So the wide receiving core could be the weakness of this team, but it could play better than what a lot of people are giving it credit for. I'm also looking at Marshall Jr. to have another good season. Last season, he came onto the scene when Matt Rule stepped away from the team when he was fired, and same when Ben McAdoo was able to actually call plays going into his favor. He looked really good in the back half of the season. And I'm looking at Laviska Shenault as well. Similar to Deebo Samuel, a guy that can be used across the field, using the backfield, using inside the slot and outside the slot. I'm expecting some big plays to come from some of these wide receivers, but do not sleep on the Carolina Panthers. Do not listen to the other people that do not pay attention to the team that much. They're saying that the offensive line is bad, that Bryce Young's in a bad situation. The offensive line is good when it's fully healthy. Bryce Young will be fine. It will be a huge learning curve, and this should be one of the most fun seasons in the last couple of years if you are a Carolina Panthers fan. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, I want each and every last one, guys, stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Peace.